And here we go. This is a round 2 matchup between Ivan and Smallant1. Or actually, is this round 3? Yeah, I guess it's round 3 if you count off the group stages. But yeah, Smallant1 versus Ivan. Very skilled players in both fronts. So Smallant1 has a PB of 107.02 entering this race, and Ivan has a PB of 108.26. So not even a minute and a half separating the two, and both being really high up there on the leaderboard means that this will be both a close race and really exciting given how good both of them are. First off, we got Cap Kingdom. Not too much going on here route-wise, but there is a lot of heavy movement, so it'll be interesting to see how each of them play. Some people take a bit more of a risky but fast style, and some take a more consistent but maybe a tad bit slower style of play. So we'll probably see a little bit of that come out. For instance, you can see Smallant1 on the left doing vectoring with the frog. Vectoring is a method of moving around in the air to help increase your speed. Basically, turning it so that you keep both your horizontal speed and then also your forward and backward speed. A little bit of a gap getting into that roll for going up the ramp though, so Ivan does take a small lead, but again, very close to starting out. Very good topper fights from both of them. Probably only about a second off each other exiting Cap Kingdom, which is to be expected. Solid start for both players, running about 233 and 234s out of Cap Kingdom. Like Cap Kingdom, Cascade doesn't have too much going on in terms of route differences. Mostly just a little bit of movement here and there, and probably the main skip is Dino Skip. Given their times, I don't expect we'll see any trouble from either of them about that skip, but we could see a little bit of a difference in the fight once they are up there. Smallant1 would be the first one to go for that Dino Skip. Gets it without issue, and Ivan might be a little short up, just makes it. Nicely done. Alright, so the main difference in fight will be how they go after this attack phase. Looks like Smallant1 will be able to get the quick release. Ivan unfortunately makes a slight mistake there, and will have to take a bit longer in order to get the second hit onto Madame Brutal. Smallant1 though, getting both hits pretty quickly. Nicely done. The only other moon we grab here outside of the two moons that we are forced to get, well, the moon and the multi-moon we are forced to get, is the above the cliff moon. Simply because it is the one that's closest by. You can see that even after a couple of small mistakes from Ivan coming out of his first kingdom, it's only a matter of a few seconds that separate the two. And I expect it'll be pretty close to that pretty much the whole race. These are both really good racers. Yeah, it looks like Ivan is trailing by about 10 seconds coming out of Cascade. Next up is Sand Kingdom. We got a couple of different routes that we could be seeing here. Given that these are both pretty high up there runners, we might see a Sphinx clip. But also given that it's a race, it's very possible that they may decide to just not worry about it, just open up Sphinx the normal way, or even skip Sphinx entirely, just so that they don't have to worry about race nerves maybe making it even harder to do that skip. Slight bonk from Smallant going up to that first moon. Each of those little bonks cost you about 2 seconds, so just that alone puts Ivan probably closer to an 8-second deficit now. Smallant spawning the Dune Moon on his first ground pound, nicely done. See if Ivan can do the same, nicely done by him as well. Smallant and Ivan both not having issues getting up to that Arch Moon. Now let's see if both of them can get up to the bullet bill nicely. Smallant having a little bit of trouble. See if either of them can keep that bullet bill alive. Ivan having a little bit of issue getting up there too. That icicle can be justifiably slippery. Looks like Smallant, once he got up there, was able to keep the bullet bill alive. Ivan not quite able to do the same. He's gonna have to wait out the spawn for the next bullet bill, and this particular cannon takes a while to spawn the next one, so that it will cost him a few seconds. Smallant, meanwhile, taking up a bit of a lead after that, getting the spin ground pound for that luggage moon. Nicely done. Alright, now we'll see if we get any Sphinx clip action here. Smallant looks like he's gonna go for it. Quite brave to go for it in a race. Gets it first try, nicely done. Gets that first try Sphinx clip, gets the quicksand moon, and then runs back over to the loading zone. Ivan opting to just answer the question and get it done out of the way without risking losing all of that time. Smallant grabs coins from Sphinx, as does Ivan, so neither of them should have to worry too much about coins for the rest of the run. Coming out of sand, Smallant's already set to have probably around almost 200, maybe around 190. And Ivan is definitely set to go as well. Ivan does have a little bit tighter timing to grab the bird in Oasis given his route, so Smallant didn't have to stop and grab Quicksand Moon after Sphinx. so the moon won't be anywhere near done cycling around Oasis by the time he gets there. However, for Ivan, that moon or bird is going to be getting ready to leave Oasis by the time he gets there, so any mistakes here could make it to where he has to go for notes instead. Smallant, meanwhile, made Jack skip up with no issues and grab the cactus moon as well. Ivan also making it up Jack to skip just fine. Smallant grabbing that bird. See, as you can see, it was in a really nice spot just right next to the bird mound, so he was able to grab it pretty much right away. Really started solid start from Smallant so far. Yeah, there's not really any notable mistakes to speak of aside from a little bit of bonking here and there. I've been struggling to get up to that moon. When you hit the bird as it's on its way out of the Oasis, the moon won't go down to the ground, whereas if you do it while he's still flying around Oasis, then it'll usually sink down a bit lower. So getting up to that will cost him a few seconds, but other than that, he is done with sand and heads back to the Odyssey to turn in his moons. Smallant now heading into Lake Kingdom, pretty much the shortest kingdom in the game. Really, it's even faster than Ruined Kingdom later on, despite having to grab a few more moons. It might have been a gold for him. That bonk at the beginning might have messed with it a little bit, but other than that, it was pretty good, pretty clean. Clean start to Lake so far for Smallant. Makes it up to that ledge without any issues. There are a few different ways to go up to that ledge. You can use the cat bounce, you can do a triple jump or a ground pound jump. Pretty much any jump can get you up there. But the cap jump is usually the fastest way to go about it. Smallant grabbing or spawning the pillar moon using this motion control spin move for Cheep. Ivan also making up that ledge without any issues. Smallant, we'll have to see if he makes that jump up to the ledge first try. He might go for a dive. He does after getting the slightly higher Cheep jump and makes up to the boss battle, no issue whatsoever. For those wondering, to get that higher Cheep jump, you have to level off your swimming as you get to the surface. So that Cheep kind of pokes his head out of the water for a moment before you jump. And that'll give you like about half a jump's worth of height more than usual, which makes getting that dive pretty easy. Clean fight on Rango from Smallant. Ivan also having a pretty clean lake so far. We'll see if he makes the jump up to the boss platform with no issues as well. Stalls for a moment there getting that wall kick, but does make it up there without any further issues. And a clean fight on Rango from Ivan as well. Smallant on great pace so far. Not really any mistakes to speak of in Lake Kingdom either. And Ivan having, I would say, a pretty clean Lake Kingdom as well. I don't think he had any mistakes really either. Now we have Smallant entering Wooded Kingdom. He opts to go for the rabbit before going for the rock. nicely done. Grabs that rabbit moon after it spawns, so actually kind of goes through it for a moment there. I'm not sure if that was before the Tingulate or the whole moon having to be on screen issue. And then buys his first shot moon of the run. We get 2 of those. He already has 90 coins towards his second one, so again, not really too much to worry about coins as far as these 2 go, since they both went through Sphinx. Ivan also opting to do money before going for that rock. Smallant grabbing another nut moon before heading towards, presumably, pipes, which is going to be one of the harder sections of the game. Pipes has a lot of tight movement, trying to get around and avoid all the fuzzies. Damage boosting is an option here to make it a little faster, but you can get it done even quicker if you don't take damage at all, but it also gets incredibly difficult. Clean pipes so far. Almost gets up there, but doesn't quite get that second cap throw in time. He's gonna have to take the water all the way up. But still, not taking damage there is still good, just because you don't have to wait those 2 seconds for Mario to heal after getting a moon. Taking a moment there to get his bearings, since the camera was a little bit weird. Then goes up to the Maze Moon, while Ivan enters pipes as well. Clean start to pipes for Ivan, while Smallant spawns the Piranha Plant Moon. Looks like Ivan will take a little bit of a shorter way up as well. Oh, does take a little bit of damage there, so that will cost him a couple of seconds. Smallant grabbing the first Ray Moon, which in itself isn't a terribly fast moon, but it does enable us to go for that dash through the rabbit at the top of the tower to get his multi-moon. Smallant making it up without the P-switch, very nicely done. Ivan now also spawning that moon from the Piranha Plant. Smallant making it up the tower without any issues, while Ivan grabs his first Ray Moon and likely begins his attempt for P-switch. Oh no, the opposite go for the P-switch. Maybe not feeling the risky stress this race. Smallant having a clean spirit fight so far. I've been having a little bit of trouble in having to take the tower climb a little bit slow. Ivan begins Spirit Fight while Smallant, after a little bit of difficulties, gets Cappy planted on that globe. Little do people know that getting Cappy to actually go on that globe can kind of be the worst part of the level. Yeah, sub 21 wooded completion by Smallant. Very, very good pace so far. Ivan, meanwhile, clean Spirit Fight from him. Smallant taking a detour through the shortest kingdom in the game. And we'll see if he goes for all of the fast hits on Bowser or if he plays it a little bit safer. He gets the first one quickly. If you get close enough to Bowser and then throw your cap before, or right as he throws it, then you can get it immediately. Cap doesn't quite go right onto Mario like it normally would, but still pretty quick grab from Smallant. Will likely take a bit of damage here, yep, to get to that last one quickly. And very nicely done. Really clean fight from Smallant. And he will be headed into Lost while Ivan begins Cloud. Ivan is probably about 45 seconds to a minute behind as of right now. He's still on pretty decent pace. Smallant is just really kicking butt so far. Ivan also getting that first quick hit on Bowser. Smallant making it past Meme Tree without any issues. Ivan having a little bit of trouble getting that hat. Once you knock the hat to where you can get it, it can sometimes get a little too close to Bowser, and then he'll grab it back before you can. Ivan getting the last hit in real quick, with a little bit of damage boosting, just like Smallant did. Smallant is about halfway done with Lost Kingdom. Similar to Cloud Kingdom, it is also one of the shortest ones, only a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, does not get that single explosion rock break. I can talk. While Ivan goes for Meme Tree. Doesn't quite think he'll make it and decides to turn around, but fortunately doesn't quite make that decision fast enough and he suffers a quick death. Fortunately, it's at the very beginning of the level, so there's not really too much lost. Ooh, Smallant though unfortunately dying before grabbing that last moon under the bridge. He can go back and grab it without having to go all the way around and avoid the Klepto trigger. However, it will take a little bit more care to try and make sure he doesn't grab it again, or doesn't hit that Klepto trigger, and he gets it without any issues. Doing it that way, there isn't really a good setup to avoid death, so usually you just take the death there. In fact, it's entirely possible that if you avoided it, then you might have already triggered Klepto, and then he would have gone off by the time you land, so probably safer to take the death there anyways, as odd as that may seem. Ivan, meanwhile, after his first death, is making it has been making it through Lost Kingdom without any issues. Smallant1's coin count should still be pretty safe. You get a few coins just by doing the level for Metro, and then probably a couple more by the time you get to the shop in Snow Kingdom. So should be good to go. If something does happen to where he does have to get a lot more coins, he could always go to Seaside first if he realizes it. But for now, he begins his way through the nighttime metro section. Ivan grabbing his last moon in Lost Kingdom. Gets under the bridge first try. Gives him a little bit of a chance to maybe catch up a little. Does take the death there, but again, it's only a couple of seconds lost if you die there versus going back up and not dying, so not really any issue doing that. Ivan, I think, definitely has a bigger pad in terms of his coin count, so he has nothing to worry about there. Ivan making out of the Lost Kingdom without further issues. Still probably about a minute behind due to some issues with the Bowser fight, but something that could easily change with a bad mecha fight or a variety of other issues that can befall speedruns in this game. Smallant though has a very clean climb inside the Metro City Hall, and you can see there his coin count is already back up to 99, so he should definitely be pretty much good to go, so there's not much risk of dying in this particular kingdom. A little bit of trouble hitting that hitbox on Wiggler there. His hitboxes can be kind of awkward, so it's pretty common that whenever you're doing a run that some kind of weird happenstance with his hitboxes or a bug will happen with Wiggler just because that's how he is. Ivan, meanwhile, making his way through Nighttime Metro. Hasn't had any issues yet. Really nice climb up the building and up to that Greater Sandwich Moon. Smallant1 entering the second phase of the Wiggler fight. We'll have to see if he does manage to kill it in that second section. Not getting it done in that second section can cause a lot of time loss while you wait for the third section of the fight to happen, but he does get it nicely. Ivan during that Wiggler fight on the Smallant1 screen does make it up through City Hall without any issues whatsoever as well. So he will be entering the Wiggler fight right behind Smallant1. No issues in the first phase for Ivan. Smallant1 is, however, beginning the daytime phase of Metro. So we have 20 moons total to grab, and he's already grabbed 5. The first one we grab is this little tunnel, and while we're in there, we have Cappy waiting above that pylon so that you can grab it as soon as you get the moon. Ivan, unfortunately, having a little bit of issue with Wiggler, though, does not quite get the last hit on him before he, actually, no, never mind, I thought he had gone through that phase already. I am mistaken. Might have a little trouble getting that, but does make it up there just in time. Sometimes when those last segments that you have to hit are high up, it can be a little bit difficult to reach them if you're a little too far forward. Smallant1, really nice motorcycle clip, doesn't waste any time at all there. A lot of runners, myself included, have to take a little bit of time to set up for that, so it's definitely impressive to see someone just kind of do it without any issue whatsoever. Just to kind of reiterate, Smallant's coin count is all the way back up to 107, so he is safely within that threshold as far as getting that shot moon in Snow Kingdom goes. Ivan, opting not to go for Scooter Clip, decides to just go for the back it up method of the RC car. But in any case, nicely done. RC Clip doesn't save too much time if you're not really comfortable with it, so it's definitely better to just kind of leave it be if you're not super confident about doing it, especially in a race. Smallant grabbing the first of the two musicians that we grab in any percent, while Ivan begins his upper side section of Daytime Metro. Having a little bit of trouble there with the tree, can kind of be in the way sometimes, but makes it all the way over to the island just fine, while Ivan makes it up top of the tower. And here we go, OTEP.
Yay!
Smallant is just off of PB pace, maybe like a second off. So he is doing rather well so far, given that his PB is pretty much a 107 flat. I've been grabbing the drummer bush from, or the drummer moon from the bushes. Smallant, meanwhile, entering Snow Kingdom. We're only going to grab one moon out here before we go into Shiveria, and that is from Toad. Meanwhile, OTEP I've been turning in his moons. Smallant grabs the first moon inside Shiveria before heading to the shop. Once he gets this moon, there's not really any reason to worry about coins anymore. That being said, there aren't really any more deaths to be expected this run either, so... And again, Ivan also has plenty of coins, so there's no reason for him to go to Seaside either. Smallant suffering a few bonks in Snow Kingdom. Ivan tries to talk to Snow without puncturing that wall of snow, but does put a small dent into it. Not making it through that purple room without any issues, while Ivan enters Shiveria himself. Does overshoot that pipe a little bit. Fortunately keeps himself from dying. Ivan almost buys a power heart, but does not quite have the number of coins to spare for that, so he's just going to grab the moon instead. Does have a little bit of trouble climbing up to that chest moon. Smallant meanwhile making it through the Goomba ice room without any issues. Does get the quick entrance on the pipe leaving that ice Goomba room. And while Ivan climbs up to the top of that purple toxic lake room without any issues and grabs that moon. And knocks out the Cyanops without issue. Sometimes we'll see that one Spenny gets kind of stuck against the stairs, but fortunately both runners avoided that. Smallant looks like he's back ahead of his PV pace by a little bit. At 38:45 leaving snow. See if I can get a difference between him and Ivan by the end of snow. Smallant not even bothering to turn the camera to climb up there, but has no issues nonetheless. Ivan saving himself on that ledge a couple of times for grabbing his last moon in Snow Kingdom. It looks like he is about a minute 50 behind. Which again, could easily change over the course of Luncheon and Bowser and Moon, but Smallant definitely has this race in his hands. It's his to lose. We'll have to stick around and see how it ends up. See, one thing I learned is to never count a race as being done. There was a race about a week or two ago where someone had a solid minute or plus lead going into Moon Kingdom, and then a couple of unfortunate deaths took them out of that lead, so anything can happen. I've been unfortunately having a little bit of trouble climbing up that ledge, but does make it up the second time. Smallant, meanwhile, nearly all the way done with Seaside Kingdom already. Even though you do have to grab 10 moons here, and none of them are multi-moons, this is one of the shorter kingdoms, only 3 minutes and about 45 seconds worth. I've been having a little bit of difficulty grabbing that moon up there. It's honestly one of the more infuriating moons to get in any percent, just because you're in that section and it looks like it's practically 2D. But unfortunately there's like enough space there where Mario can be in front of or behind that moon to where you don't actually grab it, even though it looks like you're going through it based on how the camera is set up. Smallant entering what, in my opinion at least, are two of the hardest kingdoms in the game, Luncheon, and then in a bit we'll also be entering Bowser Kingdom. Makes it up to the Salt Pile Moon without any issues. And while that first jump is a bit difficult, movement throughout this kingdom can be a little bit difficult, not to mention with lava all around, it's definitely risky. Ooh, Smallant having a little bit of trouble with that spirit fight, taking a bit of damage at the end. Unlike the first fight against any of the Brutals, the second fight you only get a single moon instead of a multi-moon. So when you take damage from that fight, you do have to spend those couple of seconds healing afterwards. Ivan finishes up a slightly troublesome start for Seaside Kingdom, but does finish fairly cleanly. This is the only time in any percent that you'll see us go into a secret level to grab one moon, but not both, just because the one in there that we grab is really quick, and then the one that we don't is really slow in comparison. Smallant almost dying there to the lava, but fortunately there is a spot there to climb back up. If you don't know where that spot is, it is definitely a useful thing to know for when you do mess up that jump, because it is very easy to mess up. Ivan beginning his run through the Luncheon Kingdom. Smallant grabs the wrong turnip real quick, but corrects it pretty quickly. Ivan also makes it up to the salt pile on his first try. Ivan meanwhile entering that spirit fight. And Smallant going the well accepted by now route to go through forks rather than that lava maze. He's also using the motion controls to throw the Cappy upwards and getting those rather quick hits onto those forks. So that he can get up just a tad bit quicker, which is part of what makes forks a little bit faster than lava maze. Ivan has a clean spirit fight, so gains a little bit of time there. Smallant having a little bit of trouble with that climb up with the lava bubble. That is definitely one of the trickier jumps to get, just because it is kind of a bit of tech that can be kind of touchy. Because you have to do a motion controlled boost jump with the lava bubble and then jump pretty much as soon as you land. And definitely doesn't always work out to be perfectly clean. We will see both runners go for that cheese skip. Smallant gets it without any issue whatsoever. Nicely done. Basically, we throw that turnip right next to the cage, drop the hammer bro in between the turnip and the cage, and then when we recapture the pan bro, he actually gets moved a little bit to the inside of that cage. And it saves us from having to go over, uncover the switch, hit it, and then wait on that animation. So, when done perfectly, it saves probably about 10 seconds, whereas if you do have to kind of reset it up the way Smallant did, it still saves about 5 or 6. Ooh, Smallant with a bonk there, but fortunately does land in a tiny little safe spot there and does not die. If he had died there, it would have cost him a fair bit of time. It's not too far away from the checkpoint, but it is enough to where it would have given a small bit of window for Ivan to catch up a bit. You see Ivan doing forks and also getting those up throws. See if he can grab a little bit of time by getting that lava jump right away. Who doesn't quite get it, but instead of trying to go for it more, he just opts to go the normal way. And that might still save him a little bit of time rather than trying that again a couple of times. However, it does look like he's going to opt not to go for the cheese skip. Not necessarily a bad idea. If you're not pretty comfortable with it, it generally is going to be a time loss because it is only 5 seconds if you get it perfectly with what is generally a bit of a reset to get that turnip in just the right spot. Smallant begins the dragon, more or less side-scroller boss. Ivan having a little bit of trouble on his own getting to that mountain ground pound moon, but does make it there. Does drop down afterwards though, unfortunately, but it looks like he knows the way back up without losing too much time. And while we are on this rather dull kingdom, everyone might be pleased to know there is a new world record that just got set for 90% actually by Necroveda. He got a 104.20. Feel free to set off your air horns as you please. But yeah, big congratulations to him for that big world record change. That's actually about a 23-second gain on what the old one was. So nicely done. Going back to this race though, Smallant finishing up Ruined Kingdom as Ivan begins to enter. Smallant does have at this point about a 2.5 minute lead on Ivan. Smallant beginning his trek through the Bowser Kingdom. The first moon doesn't have too awfully much going on, but we will perhaps see what route everyone decides to take for this kingdom. There are a few different moons that you can grab along with the behind, or not behind, but on top of the wall behind the moon shard area. It looks like Smallant is not going to be going for the bird capture moon. Does get the first story moon without issue though. We do have to get all of them pretty much right away in Bowser's Kingdom, and there's only a couple other ones that you have to grab. One of them, as I mentioned before, is pretty much set. It is the on top of the wall that you grab after moon shards. The other one that Smallant is probably going to end up getting is in the boxed corridor after the brutal fights. Smallant missing the throw to that fourth shard, does finally get it. Managed to avoid the bombs even though he can't see them. Alright, we see here Smallant grabbing that moon behind the wall. case anyone's curious what that sound is, it's him using motion controls as you go along that wire. And he opts to go for Topper first. It doesn't really matter which you do first between Topper and Harriet, it's just a bit of personal preference. Very solid fight on Topper from Smallant. Meanwhile, Ivan is on his way towards the first story moon. And it looks like he will be going for that bird moon. Basically, we have a bird there, and kind of similar to that pylon in Metro Kingdom, we drop the bird off and hover Cappy right above the bird's head, and then use the homing attack to have a Cappy capture the bird as soon as we grab the moon. So Ivan grabs his first of the 2 extra moons and the first story moons without any issues. Smallant finishes off Harriet without taking any damage or any issues either. All that's standing between him and the end of Bowser's Kingdom is that box corridor moon and then the mecha fight. Ivan, unfortunately, falling there, does have to grab the bird to try and make it over the wall once he grabs that first one. Smallant grabbing that box corridor moon. That box corridor moon, when done optimally, is about a second or so faster than the bird moon. So, fairly small difference. If you can execute the bird moon better than you can the box moon, you might be better off going for it. So, there's a lot of moons like that in the game, kind of like in Sand, where it is, for the most part, just kind of depends on what you prefer to do and what you're most comfortable with. Ivan finishing off the shards while Smallant enters the Mecha Brutal fight. Goes for Birdless. Got it going good so far. Makes it up, gets the first hit just fine. We'll have to see if he's able to stay on. Ivan, meanwhile, does grab that on top of the wall moon. And then Ivan heads towards his fight with the Brutals. Smallant makes the second hit look pretty easy. And makes it back on pretty safe. Ivan also doing the same as Smallant and goes for Topper first. Solid fight so far. Ooh, doesn't quite get him the second time, but does know where his hat goes in that little attack phase, so still able to track him down without much issue. Smallant finishes off that Mecha Brutal fight perfectly, nicely done. Does not fall off at all. Ivan entering the Harriet fight after a pretty solid Topper fight. Pretty minimal time lost there. Ivan finishing off Harriet without any issues, and he doesn't have any extra moons to grab after this, so he'll be going directly up to that Mecha Brutal fight. Smallant ahead of his PB has pretty much a 101 flat exit out of Bowser Kingdom. That does put him on pace. Around the best time that he could expect to get if he has a really perfect moon is about a 106.25 or so. Ivan unfortunately bonks, climbing up and takes a death. And it was a fair bit away from that last spawn point, so it will be a pretty big time loss there. Smallant opting not to do, at least not a full triple jump's worth of vectoring. Opts to go for the slightly safer and easier rolls. Ooh, does get that roll right over those spines, but does bonk on the next one, unfortunately. Still good pace though. Could definitely get his 106 that he's been hoping for the past few days. He has been PBing like crazy. A lot of it will depend on if he does get first try moon skip here. This can be a pretty slippery trick to deal with. It does kind of mess up the first attempt or so, but that is in part due to just the little bit of Russian he tried to do there. Didn't really want to take too much time to set up, but once he's got it set up right, he makes it up there no issue. Ivan not having any issues with birdless, and does manage to stay up on top. Ivan unfortunately falling to a kind of awkward spot, or maybe he plans to go there. Actually that might have been planned by the looks of it. Gets that third hit, just has one more brutal to kill before he's done with that mecha fight, and does get it perfectly cleanly. Very nice mecha brutal fight by Ivan. Really clean bounce break going by Smallant so far. Gets the second hit in nice and quick. Showing off a little bit there with those spin ground pound rolls, but takes a bit of damage there. It is on purpose, just to make sure he can get to that hat safely. Ooh, unfortunately it looks like he was maybe a little bit too low when he was grabbing it. He's gonna go for it again. Does get it the second time though, fortunately. Not too much of a time loss there. Could still make that 106 happen. To get that 106, he had to get done with Moon in a little under 6 minutes, excuse me. And given that the pretty much best build you can get is a 523 or so, I think that's the best anyone's gotten so far. It's definitely still possible for him to get that, although it will be especially close, so a lot of it will come down to that final room. Ivan finishes up Bowser Kingdom. He is sitting at about 4 minutes behind, so barring anything short of a miracle, he will probably not be able to catch up. Smallant going for 2D skip, makes it first try, nicely done. One of those last big hurdles. And now it'll all come down to that final room. It does take about a minute to do that room, and it looks like it'll be really close getting in there. He's got to be shaking that controller like his life depends on it. He's got a few seconds of leeway going in there to make that 106 happen. And I can, knowing him, he's probably a little bit of a bundle of nerves right now. Looks like he gets about 3 or 4 hits on that first pillar. Very nice, quick kill on that second pillar. Only one of his fireballs gets intercepted on the way to that third pillar. Nicely done. Nice kill on that one. Still just need a couple of fireballs to finish that one. Should be good to go. I think he's got it. It'll be really, really close, but I do think he's got it. Hopefully that bit of damage doesn't cost him. He should be good. He is going to finish with a 106.55. Nicely done, Smallant. Congrats on that PB and getting that 106. Doing this well in a race, especially PBing, is absolutely insane, and this guy's been PBing. This is like his 5th PB in like 2 days. The dude is crazy. Ivan, meanwhile, on his boss fight with Bowser, goes for that quick hit, but unfortunately does not quite have the positioning quite right to get that hit in real quick. Grabs it the second time, no issue. I've been taking that bit of damage the way you normally would for that bit of the fight. Grabs the hat real quick and gets that third set of punches in. And away he goes into the final escape phase of the moon and of the game. He could still get within a 110 range. Probably around a 110.30 if all goes well. Actually, probably a little closer to a 110.45. Alright, we'll see if Ivan goes for that 2D skip. Looks like he's going for it. And he gets it without any issues as well. Nicely done. Ooh, does take a death there on the 2D though. Doesn't quite get the get up on the block like he wanted, and because he was up high enough that it's kind of made that lower level of rocks drop down. It did unfortunately lead to a death. Goes for the 2D skip the second time, does have a little bit more trouble with it, but does make it up. Oh no. Okay, I thought he was going to do the same thing again. Does make it back up there though, thankfully. Alright, he heads into that final room. His end time will probably be around a 111 now, or 111.50. That PB from Smallant1 will gain him 1 spot on the leaderboard. His previous time was a 107.02, so not a terribly huge jump in time. But it does put him into 13th place, so that's still pretty dang impressive. Ivan will finish up with about a 111.51. Still, I mean, it's only about 3 minutes off of his PB, maybe 3.5. Still a fairly decent time to get in a race. And really, he was on a pretty good pace up until that last unfortunate death that cost him a little over a minute on its own. So, still nicely done to Ivan. And again, congratulations to Smallant. We'll see if we can get either of them in here for a quick question or two. Yo, Smallant, what is up?
Hi.
So, you must be pretty hyped right about now.
Oh yeah, I am super happy with that time.
I mean, maybe you're getting a little worn down with all this PBing you're doing. You're winning so much, you're getting a little tired of it, but...
Yeah, that's the 5th PB I've gotten in 2 days. It's nuts.
Yeah, some just awoken you, I guess.
Yeah, it must have.
But yeah, congrats on the 106. Only a couple more minutes to make up now until you're in that world record range.
Yeah, a little over 2.
Yeah, well, now it's a little over 2.5 actually. So during that run, a certain runner named Nicroveda was doing a run of his own, and he got a 104.20.
Oh man.
Yeah, he 23 seconds off. It was really nice. But yeah, really psyched to see you get that 106, and you've been grinding a ton of runs over the past few days and getting those PBs, so definitely, I mean, especially getting in a tournament race, it's pretty hype.
Yeah, it's great.
And then, as with a lot of runs, some easy time saves in there too for your next run through, especially some of the bigger ones like Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, the Death and Lost sucked, and I had a 20-second time save on Moon, and I lost 3 seconds on that Moon there, so 23 seconds for next time.
Alright, well, I mean, there you go. It sounds like an easy minute time save there, so you'll have a 105 by tomorrow, right? That's how that works?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, at the rate you're going, you might. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Not sure if Ivan is planning on stopping by or not. He hasn't quite responded in Discord yet. But again, congrats, you are moving on in the bracket. Actually, I'll pull it up right now and see if the next match is already decided.
No, I faced the winner of Dram and Nerf.
Ah, yeah, those two were actually supposed to face today, but then Nerf wasn't quite feeling too well, so they've moved their race to another day. We'll also see if there's anything on the schedule coming up. I believe, yeah, Kerbis and Mr. Ike are actually having their race here starting in about 5 or 6 minutes. So actually, we might have to skedaddle a little bit here. Plus, I know it's probably pretty late for you there. Oh, well, we do have Ivan popping in. What's up?
Hi.
So maybe not quite the run you were hoping for, but still for the most part, pretty solid.
That's about what I expected. I haven't really been playing the game. I've been playing Celeste for the last week, so...
Yeah, that's fair. I hear it's a really good game. But yeah, congrats on making it this far in the tournament. And And again, still a pretty good run. Just a slight unfortunate death there towards the end.
Yeah.
But hey,
Sorry.
it's Odyssey, it happens. Definitely a lot of crazy stuff seems to be happening in these races. Some stuff that you normally wouldn't see. You had a death there. There's another runner who died right during that final room about a week ago. Yeah, lots of crazy stuff's been happening in tournament races of all places. Anything either of you would like to say before we sign off and give room to the next race that's coming up between Kerbis and Mr. Ike?
No, really. Just, I guess thanks for commentating, and thanks to Speed Gaming for hosting the races.
Yep.
Alright, well, without further ado, do subscribe or at least follow these two. As you can tell, both of them are pretty skilled at what they do, and definitely fun to watch. So I will get those links into the chat so you can follow them, and then I will be signing off as well. I don't know who's commentating the next match, but hopefully we will get them in here and be ready for you right away.